Today's episode of the Tourpreneur podcast is kindly sponsored by Checkfront, the booking platform trusted by over 5,000 tour and activity operators around the world. This month, Checkfront is offering an exclusive 90-day free trial for tourpreneurs. Find out more at checkfront.com/tourpreneur.
Welcome to the Tourpreneur podcast. Travel industry veteran Shane Whaley will take you on a journey with fellow tourpreneurs, sharing their tips, ideas, insights, and success stories to inspire you to make your tour business the best it can be. And now, here is your host, Shane Whaley.
And welcome back. Today is day 20 of our 30-day tour operator challenge. Angela Heald is with us. How are you, Angela?
I'm great, and we're 2/3 of the way there, Shane.
We are. It's flying by. I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Both, I think.
So what's today's challenge?
I love today's challenge because personally, I love photography. And to be honest, beautiful photography sells. It not only sells the beauty of your destination, but you can actually recreate the feelings that your guests should expect when they book your experience through a photograph. So today you'll be planning a photo shoot.
So what tips do you have for those of us who may never have planned a photo shoot before?
I guess my main tip is that it sounds expensive, but it doesn't have to be. I also understand that as we record this, COVID restrictions around the world are changing by the day. So I don't want you to despair if you can't book a commercial photographer right now for any reason. You can still plan an excellent photo shoot using your iPhone. And if you're lucky, maybe a few family and friend volunteers that are in your bubble.
Absolutely. And you were saying that one of the tips in the worksheet actually is to invite family and friends along if you're not running a tour right now, but to use this time to maybe, build up your photography stock.
Absolutely. So you can either put them in kind of as actors and act like they're your guests and, take the photos that way. Or you can use them for, photographers if you want photos of yourself and your guides, whatever the case may be for the photo shoot that you're planning.
Yeah. And I keep reading that user-generated content is king. Why are you suggesting that a more professional photo shoot is better than the user-generated content for websites?
So a few reasons. Sometimes you can luck out with user-generated content and you'll get a winner. But generally speaking, a lot of people don't have an eye for photos. And like I said, photos sell. So if you are putting forward photos that are not, beautiful and inspiring on your website, you're not kind of starting off on the right foot. So if you take the photos, you can control that a little bit. And I love iPhone photography. So on one hand, if you get guests that create these incredible photos using their iPhone, you are lucky and you can ask permission to use them, and you should. In some ways, user-generated content is better when it's good. But if you have an iPhone, you can actually capture incredible photographs yourself. And then that way, it's a really easy way to take better photos.
Yeah, absolutely. I think is that difference, isn't there, that maybe on social media, you can get away with the user-generated content because it's real, it's authentic, it's people on a tour, they're capturing the moment. But for website and for marketing, if you have that grainy photo or the color is off, then who knows, that could, people could skip the website and move on to a competitor.
I agree. And, it's so easy these days to take good photos with your phone that there are really no excuses, I would say, to have on your website, which should be a, first glimpse of your brand. You should have beautiful photos.
What's a top iPhone photography tip from you, Angela?
Oh, I have a lot. Using grid lines to improve your composition. So depending on what phone you have, how to turn those on is different. But in the iPhone, it's under camera settings and you just turn on grid lines. So instead of always placing the subject of your photo smack in the middle, you should place it where two grid lines intersect, which will leave it kind of either to the right or the left and either near the bottom or the top. And that will immediately create a more interesting photograph. Also, lighting is everything. So the time of day in which you shoot your photographs will change the quality of the picture significantly. Early in the morning or nearing sunset are great times for more vibrant colors. Cloudy days, you might think, that's not a great time to shoot, but it actually is because the shadows created are not quite as harsh. So especially when you're shooting landscapes, cloudy days are great. If you're, say, a food tour operator and you want to photograph some mouth-watering food that a guest can expect to taste, you need to make sure that you're photographing near a window if possible, because everything looks better in natural light.
Angela, I think we might have to do a special episode just on iPhone photography tips. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I mean, I solo travel a lot and I constantly get comments about who took my photos for me. And I'm always like, I took them.
Wow.
So yeah, good photos are a game changer, and you don't need expensive equipment. I do have a nice camera, but 90% of the time I'm using my phone. I purchased a small tripod and remote control combo from Amazon for like less than $30. That has been a game changer because it allows me to be in the photos. So if you don't have a helper and you want your guides to be in the photos, purchasing a really small, affordable tripod is going to be a game changer for sure.
And are there any third-party apps that you use or can recommend?
So I do use Lightroom a little bit. So Lightroom, I believe it's $6.99 for the app, but I just use the free version because I don't actually do a ton of editing. I'm pretty good at giving tips on how to take photos, but how to edit them, I'm not super strong at. So I use Lightroom for a little bit of editing, or sometimes I'll do editing right in Instagram.
Yeah, I do that. I have a personal Instagram account that I don't use very often, and when I do use it, it's just because I want to play around with the filters to put the picture on Facebook or to send it to someone, which is terrible. But no, you give me food for thought. I think we should have a future episode. And if you're listening to today's challenge and you are an expert on iPhone photography, let me know. I'd love to have a panel of maybe 3-4 of us where we can talk through our top tips. And if you are shy to come on the podcast, maybe send out a tweet and use the hashtag Tour Operator Challenge and share your iPhone tip with us, and obviously share with us in the Tourpreneur Facebook group. Thank you for those tips, Angela.
Thanks, Shane.
Thanks for listening to the Tourpreneur podcast. Be sure to visit tourpreneur.com to join the conversation and access the show notes, including links to the resources mentioned on today's episode. This is Tourpreneur.